it's been said that if you can't measure something, you can't manage it. And so now let's find out if there's the critical data available that might, could, would, or maybe even should guide global decision making. Here to help us with that, he's the global head of transportation, travel, and logistics for Roland Berger. Please welcome to the stage Didier Brechemier.
Thanks a lot. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for attending. I'm very happy and proud to support Christian with the team, with Sebastian, and with the Roland Berger team for that event. So yes, I am leading, and Roland Berger, we are providing some industry supports regarding strategy and transformation for the companies or for the industries. And today, what we would like to present, I would like to present what we have done for the French State Ministry of Transportation, preparing a few topics regarding the preparation of the LTAG, as you know, signed a few days ago at ICAO, the long-term ambition goal. That's the first strong framework, and I really believe that will support investment in the aviation, representing 40% of the travel emissions and 2-3% of the global emission worldwide. So it's a survey we have done on 12 countries, representing more than 50% of the total population of the world, regarding what are the expectations about traveling by air, aviation, from the citizen, travelers and non-travelers. So we have selected some slides, some figures. Please, then we could provide some more detail on that presentation. So the next guy wanted to do that. So 12 countries. The 12 countries, it's all over the world, from the US to China, South Africa, the UK, Great Britain, France, Brazil, Indonesia, India, so 12, and you can see some differences within the whole countries. So first topic, it's we ask for the citizens what will be the way they will recover they thought to fly after the end of the COVID-19 crisis. And we can see that after that crisis, we are still on that uncertainty. If we can see what's happened in China, travelers in 11 out of the 12 countries intend to travel at least as much as before, with Indonesia citizens mentioning that they would like to travel less, and Indian citizens telling that they will travel more than before in what they have planned. We also can see, and we ask them, what is their level of knowledge, education, regarding CO2 emission. And on average, 2/3 of the all respondents perceive the air transport sector really above what it is. Because if we have 2-3% of the total emission for the aviation, you can see that 2/3 of the respondents consider it's up than 4%. And you have 37% consider that the CO2 emission is up than 8%. And France, as you can see here, need to be a little bit teached, if I may say, because only 23% of the population represented by that survey know that the CO2 emission for aviation is less than 4%. So some things to do regarding, as you have already mentioned, on communication. What's quite is key from my point of view regarding that survey is the panelists within the whole countries believe that air transport sector is crucial for their economy, for their education, for their development. And as you can see, it's circa 92% of the total average of that 12 countries who are considering that aviation is key for their own development. And you have 7 countries up to 95% considering that aviation it's quite key. The most maybe mature regarding climate change, regarding maybe some communication, as Germany, UK, France, on some extent, have less, but still up to or close to 80%, considering that it's quite critical. Even if they consider that it's quite key, that travel and aviation as a mode to travel, they also consider that decarbonization efforts from the players, from the industry, is not enough. And the industry need to push and to go forward on the decarbonization of the aviation sector. So yes, they would like to continue to travel, but they ask for actions. When we ask them, what is, from your point of view, the major levers, actions that the industry regarding aviation should take now, the first they mention is biofuel. And then is whole regarding hydrogen and a new generation of engine or aircraft. We can find on the fourth position the carbon offsetting. That's we'll have the opportunity for discussion this afternoon in a roundtable. And the modal shift to rail, less than 20%, 90% consider that it is important for replacing the flight by train. So of course that depends on the situation of the countries and of the needs for that flight. Who should pay for maybe new energy, that it means offsetting on one end, and new energy, new fuel? All the respondents, all the panels consider that they believe that's airlines. So the industry should take their share on that investment for circa 50%, and 25% from fuel manufacturer. That's in California. They have started to work on some specific mechanism regarding SAF subsidies, if I may say, and public funding for 28%. So they consider that the industry, of course, should move. What is, okay, the industry have to move, but what's regarding their own position and their willingness to pay more for traveling, willingness to pay for offsetting, or willingness to pay for related regarding extra cost with some new fuels, means biofuel. So as we can see on all respondents, you have still 24% or 23% offsetting or for biofuel opened on only declaration, yes, for sure, but to have some tickets up than 20% regarding price. So whatever it is, and that we can see during that summer, if you have an understanding on the evolution of the pricing on the yields this summer, so they still, when they need to travel, have that willingness to pay for decarbonization of their trips. So that's regarding the survey, some figures. Then we could deep dive on some countries. Of course, it's not exactly the same. We could deep dive on short, long haul, from short to long haul. That's not exactly the same. We also could deep dive on why they need to travel. Is it VFR, visiting friends of relatives? Is it for business, for leisure, for pleasure? So that then need to be deep dive, and all could and we could share some results on that. Then, beyond that study, as we have to think about investment, because it's nice, okay, biofuel, SAF, sustainable aviation fuel, that could be part of the solution, waiting for the innovation with new generation engines. Okay, fine. What could be the cost, the investment for the planet regarding biofuel? So you know, in fact, we have two types of fuels for the new gen fuels. You have the fuels coming from biologic trees and so on, and you have the e-fuel are coming from captation of the CO2 plus hydrogen, and that the output is some new e-fuel, what we call e-fuel. So we have two investments to take in consideration. The first one is the biofuel, and the biofuel, Roland Berger did that work to estimate what will be the investment for the world, and we find 500 billion of, it's an estimation that depends on the evolution and the speed of the innovation, but it's 500 billion euros for by 2050 to get the RefuelEU commitments, to get the LTAG, to get the IATA commitments regarding SAF, Sustainable Aviation Fuel Incorporation in the airline. 500 billion. E-fuel, so captation of the CO2 and then plus hydrogen with some specific process, Fischer-Tropsch, that's some plants, and the technology is there. So now it's investment and risk to take regarding a lot of new plants for building, for creating that new fuel. For the e-fuel, that will be 1,200 billion euro in investment from now to 2040, 2050 for that new fuel. So considering both fuels to get and to target the commitments, that will be 1,700 billion for having a net zero emission with some other levers regarding aviation. What it is 1,700 billion? You know NEOM, the line. The line, the end of the project, it's 500 billion. So it's a little bit much more than 3 times NEOM City to transform the aviation industry, to keep the travel and the tourism in all, continue to survive, to develop, or to keep a sustainable travel. So that's something we could touch, that's something we can do, but of course, that's all that the roundtable will discuss regarding cooperation, regarding funding, regarding standards for local industry or as a whole. Just before to conclude, we also deep dive on some countries. What is the cost? Because that will be also an impact on the offer. The cost of that new fuel for aviation will be for France, regarding the evolution of the traffic, up for the cost of the operation up to 45%. By 2050. So that means that the cost due to the evolution of the fuel. So maybe we could produce faster with much innovating, or innovation, new innovation of the process. Not so sure that we could happen, but that's also need which kind of support we could have from the passengers, and they mentioned that they are the willingness to pay. But not 45%. Huh? They told us a share for 20%. So that's a key question. What does it mean, and how to manage the sensibility regarding the pricing on the evolution of the cost if we want such decarbonization of the aviation? Thanks a lot.